Probably the biggest one that I would talk about is the Carrapateena project. So this was an EPC fixed price greenfields copper plant in South Australia. And this is one that we delivered for Minerals. It is the most recent Australian copper processing plant or project. And it just so happens to be one of 3 greenfields copper projects that went up or were going up in 2019 globally, all of which Ausenco were delivering at the time. So Carrapateena was a 4 million tonne per annum processing plant, and it also had about a 500 tonne per hour grinding facility. This was a major project that spanned between early 2018 and finally handed over in early 2020. Obviously, being in the middle of South Australia, it was pretty arid, and I'm going to say it was like a desert. So it was a hypersaline environment. And as such, we had to be very selective with our material choices, and we had to have some pretty high painting standards as well. More broadly, it was a challenging project, like most of them are. We had client relationship to balance, but in the end, it was quite successful. Recently, Minerals announced to the ASX that they were upgrading their output by about 20%. I think that was in late July. And one of the other things, I guess, that stood out for me was the way that we approached this to deliver for them. So the commissioning, for example, was something that we focused on heavily, and it really demonstrated our value for our clients' priorities. So in this situation for commissioning, I think we ramped up and delivered it within a 4-week period. As an engineer, you can't help but remember some of the statistics. Some of the ones that stay in my head from the beginning in the design phase were the success we had with reducing the layout. So I think we reduced it by about 50% from the pre-feasibility stage. By virtue of that, we reduced power consumption by about 30% for life of mine. And it really demonstrates, I guess, the success that we had with the balancing act between over-engineering things with layout and also delivering things on time. We had some real success there with, really compressing the colloquial spine of the plant, reducing wastewater and that sort of thing. Following on from that, of course, there was the actual project delivery and the construction of it. It was really rewarding to see all of that world-class equipment going in and having success with the challenging timing and expediting some of that equipment. One thing that stands out for me looking back on it now was the local engagement. So the Cookatha people, we were able to engage with them early on in the project. And I think we had about 11% of our construction force sourced locally. And it was really rewarding from my perspective to see local skilled people coming in and helping us deliver this, and at the same time adding value to them and upskilling them. In the next 5 to 10 years, personally, I think we'll start to see a bigger shift towards a broader approach towards the whole life cycle of mining industry. So I'd like to kind of reference a donut model of governance. I think you can kind of see there's our planetary boundaries on the outside, which we're becoming increasingly aware of. So there's global temperatures, access to clean water, biodiversity, and all of that. And that's our planetary boundaries. Mining has always been a source of energy to push us out of that inner ring, on the other hand, which is, the social foundation of having access to education, having access to resources and bringing people out of poverty. So I think, although mining has always been that positive change to push society out of that middle ring, with a bigger picture approach in the not too distant future, we'll start to see a larger focus on working within those planetary boundaries. So in the mining industry, we'll see probably more prevalence of electronic vehicles, especially in bigger vehicles like trucks. And I think we'll also see an increased penetration of renewables. These days, not only is it more sustainable to use renewable energy and alternative energy sources like solar panels, but with the lowering levelized cost of energy, it actually just makes economic sense. So take Carrapateena, for example, where we were using primarily solar panels to power some of those pumps, and we had backup diesel generators.